Around the world, they look at us as small island states. We are not small island states. We are the caretakers of the largest ocean in the world.
This is the next chapter in a story that started thousands of years ago, on great voyages across the Pacific.
Where the rest of the world do not dare to do so.
On our islands, our homes,
The markings on our skin.
and ancient art, sound, and dance.
Against rising tides, against invasions and nuclear destruction, Pacific people have endured.
We still have our culture. We still have our language. We're still here. We are still here.
As thousands descend on Hawaii for the 13th Festival of Pacific Arts, we met with creators and other custodians of Pacific culture.
We're all taking each other's phone numbers, and I think babies are going to become born.
When we lose our culture, our identity, who are we on this planet?
I will always be a Hawaiian, and I will die as a Hawaiian.
It makes me feel so alive.
So nice of you to join me in my backyard. I'm Johnson Raela.
I didn't realize this journey would be this emotional.
And I'm Alice Lolohea, and this is a story about more than just a gathering.
Okay, I'm gonna bring them in closer.
So beautiful. With the one I wake up.
Hello.
As dawn breaks, delegations from 25 Pacific nations and territories will take part in a ceremonial boat arrival north of Honolulu. Hawaii is hosting the Festival of Pacific Arts for the first time. 2,500 delegates made up of artists, carvers, weavers, creatives and musicians will be here for the event.
The Festival of Pacific Arts is probably the only time in the world where we can truly focus back on culture.
The festival, known as FestPAC, has been held every 4 years since 1972, and it's the biggest celebration of Pacific culture and identity on the planet.
Every 4 years, we need to stop. And we need to stop and take stock of where we are with our language, where we are with our cultural heritage, and where we are with our dance even.
The ocean is what ties all Pacific people together. It is the highway by which our islands were settled over thousands of years. These ancient voyages were done without modern technology or navigation. Cultures who haven't interacted for hundreds or even thousands of years still share common words, ideas, and customs. Today, some Pacific islands are trying to relearn ancient sailing and navigation.
Is this the toilet?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was wondering, how do you go to the toilet?
We have to have the door open.
Really?
We sit down, like so, and then you do your business. But you have to leave the door open, which is cool, especially in the morning, because you sometimes get an amazing sunrise or sunset. Poo with a view.
Polynesians famously used large double-hulled canoes known in various Pacific languages as Vaka, Wa'a, or Waka. This crew from the Cook Islands took 23 days to sail from Rarotonga to Honolulu.
The entire voyage was so rewarding. We got to celebrate crossing the equator. Many of us hadn't crossed the equator before. When other explorers in the past have observed one of our Vaka, they talk about how incredibly fast and mobile our vessels, our double-hulled canoes have been.
But you know, it's interesting that you say that, because you see that they're like, wow, look at these catamarans on the America's Cup, they're so fast and whatnot. But we've always known that.
We've used it for travelling across thousands of miles of sea.
Trading.
And trading, connecting with other cultures, and I was going to say something,
No, yes.
but I won't say that.
And marriage.
Yeah, marriage. That's a lot more appropriate. Marriage.
For the 6th Festival of Pacific Arts, a fleet of canoes arrive at Arana Harbour to attend the first ever Vaka pageant.
We were really lucky 32 years ago to have FestPAC hosted in Rarotonga. It was quite significant because that was it prompted this massive cultural revitalisation. I think it's important because it ensures survival. It's not just a boat that, you know, floats across the sea, but it is symbolic of a people, and with that people has culture, and with that culture is language, and within all of that is our philosophies. When people look at our canoes these days, they're like, oh, you call this a traditional canoe? Your hulls are made out of fiberglass. The tradition is in that our ancestors used the best resources available to them. At that time. And so we can do the same. But a lot of it is in the practice. And this symbolism of what Vaka represents, not just for the Cook Islands, but all Pacific nations. Watch your feet.
Watch out.
We don't want to fall down there. So here you can see our star compass.
Anthony and the crew use this star compass engraved into the deck for navigation, one of the same methods used by our ancestors.
And the best stars to navigate by are the ones that are just coming up from the horizon, which can sometimes be a challenge because often there are clouds in the distance, and that just makes the job that much harder.
Everybody always asks about seasickness. Are you one to get seasickness, or do you have a protective shield over yourself?
Oh no, I'm infamous for getting seasickness, which people are like, wait, what? You do all this voyaging but you get sick? Yep, no, it happens, guys. It happens. I get seasick and I think to myself, oh my life, what am I doing? This feels terrible. But when it's nighttime and you climb up from the deck and you're just seeing the stars, you're instantly reminded, oh, this is why I'm here, because it's so worth it. It's amazing.
Sounds like I need to get into voyaging, because it sounds like a great way to lose weight.
Yeah, everyone lost weight except for two of our crew members.
We're here at Bishop Museum in Honolulu.
Yeah, that's right. We're here to see some incredible tātātau artists, carvers from around the Pacific showcase and share their talents.
We've also got to get to work, so we've got our tools.
Yep. Yeah, what's yours?
This is my tool. It's hard work doing this.
Typical. Is it okay to touch or no? Yes, yeah?
You look the same.
It's twins. Spitting image.
Why is Kama? It's like a spirit.
A spirit.
You have one inside the museum.
Wow.
Was it gifted or was it taken?
Good question. This is where our ancestors started. You know, the tool, we travel from each island to each island. And that's how they build canoes.
Tatau or tātātau is one of the Pacific's most ancient practices. Such is its influence that the English word tattoo is derived from it. These ancient markings have spiritual meaning, and they're also markers of mourning or signs of status.
We believe in the mana and the energy of a person. I put it like this: whatever we give this gentleman, that is only for him only. You know, we don't re-tattoo something or like, okay, let me copy it. Let me draw. You see, we don't draw. We just tattoo.
Su'asuluape Aisea Toetu'u served his apprenticeship under Su'asuluape Petelo and became a tattooing legend in Hawaii. He's begun efforts to revive tātātau in Tonga, and for FestPAC, the kingdom invited Aisea to join their delegation.
When I had that call from the delegation said that you're in, I cried.
The invitation marks a shift. Tātau has been suppressed in Tonga for more than a century. When the monarchy converted to Christianity in 1831, it outlawed tātau and other traditional practices.
The thing with Tong Tātau is that we must re-educate the wearer of how to wear the tātau. Samoa never lost it, so we have to re-educate the Tongan men, how their whatongias, their duties, their respect for their ulmotuas and pahus, so the tattoo can become something that it benefits the family as well and the community. We don't own tātau. We just only hang on to it until the next person carries on. And make sure the right hands get it, so that the right message is carved in.
I'm about to get a tātau myself tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. Do you have any advice for me for my first tātau experience?
Oh, you're gonna love it. Embrace it. It's a different feeling. And then your echo here is from Pulotu, where your ancestors come from.
I don't know why I'm so nervous, to be honest. I shouldn't be. It was actually John's work that inspired me to go and see her as well, so luckily she's here in Hawaii, yeah.
So quite simply, I inspire her.
Take it easy, okay?
The reason why I chose Tyla is that I love that she might not be Cook Island. She's Samoan, but she really takes the time to research and making sure that the patterns that are marked on your body are a true reflection of where you come from. You've got to have a good understanding of who you are as a person at that point in time and where you are in your journey.
Now that we're almost here, I think it's not nerves that I'm feeling, I'm emotional. Come on through. Oh, hello. Hello again, how are you? Good to see you. Wow, this is the studio. Hi, Aisea.
38 floors above Honolulu, I'm at Aisea's shop where other tātau artists have come to collaborate during FestPAC. I'm here to meet Tyla Vaeau, a tufunga, or master of traditional tattoo, and one of few female practitioners. She's the same artist who tātau John's arms.
It's an honour for me to be able to do this work for you, but I think it's also very special in that we have the connection from women to women as well, from daughter of the Pacific to another daughter of the Pacific.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm already crying and the needle hasn't even touched me yet.
Yeah, I have that effect on people. Oh my gosh.
I was born in New Zealand with all my siblings, there's 6 of us, but when I was 11, I got sent to Tonga to go live with my grandma.
What's your grandma's name?
However, I think sending half of us over to Tonga kind of eased the burden for my parents, but it wasn't easy on my grandma as well. And I just remember her paying for our school fees with her little pension. Now that I'm at an age where I have that time to look back and reflect and remember, I really wanted a tatau that made me remember not just where I came from, but who raised me and what she taught me. On the day that I came here, sorry, my uncle passed away, and I wasn't able to make the funeral. But this uncle, his name's Jeffrey Sefidi, and he, when he was brought over to New Zealand with my family, he was made to leave school and go and work to support his siblings, my dad included. And so because of him, the rest of his siblings got to go to school. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for him, like right here, right now. But I would also like to honour him in this tatau.
You're giving me goosebumps because these are such like common stories of sacrifice in our people. It's better to cry before the tattoo than during.
I've selected tuku besi, designs from tapa cloths or ngato that have connections to my grandmother and uncle.
I like the way that it signifies the growth that, you know, both my grandma and my uncle helped in building our family.
I want you facing to me, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, first half done. Oh man, this is stunning. This is beautiful. I actually thought I would be like in intense pain, but this has actually been quite good. Is it okay if I play my grandma's song for this last bit?
Yes.
Okay. Can I have a look? Yeah. Sorry, thanks. Oh, thanks. I'm gonna take a clear tissue. Thank you, Tyla. Oh man. I didn't realize this journey would be this emotional.
Of course, how can it not be emotional, right? Yeah, it's your family, ancestors, loved ones, and then also too, like your role within the family, or making a commitment to carrying on that legacy.
Yeah. And I think that's also what like differentiates tatau from tattooing, is the commitment.
Yeah. It's about stepping into a role, into responsibilities. Yeah. It's a commitment to your family, your community. Yeah, very much.
This tatau represents the responsibilities I bear, the weight of the legacy my uncle and grandmother leave behind, the values they lived by, how they worked so hard, the way they loved us. This experience has given me not just a greater connection with family, but made me fall deeper in love with Pacific culture, and it makes me so proud to be a daughter of Moana Nui Akea.
We're here at the Hawaii Convention Center and God, it's nice and warm, beautiful.
Yeah, all the delegations have a hale or whare inside the convention center, so we're going to go check out some of the arts and crafts that they're sharing.
This is like the Cultural Olympics. This is a good way to get together with everybody in the Pacific.
This is banana
fiber.
It's just good to see like the dancing, the performances, the art as well.
But the diversity of cultural heritage, of languages, is remarkable. And so what I was struck by was both the sense of unity, but also the diversity.
And each of these warriors and chamaritas represent each island.
The mood is one of unity. But there were some conspicuous absences. With unrest still simmering in New Caledonia, the Kanaki delegation withdrew, their hale sitting empty. But not for long. Fijian Paramount Chief Vunivalu hosted a number of kava circles inside the hale.
Better than alcohol.
While the Kanak delegation was unable to attend, we also learned that West Papua is denied the right to send an official delegation at all. The joy of togetherness is tempered by the pain of knowing not every Pacific nation even has the right to express their identity freely.
Just in case we get in trouble from our parents and they're like, quickly start eating. Our Heavenly Father, I just thank you for friends, thank you for family. We think of those that are not with us and we pray that you bless the hands that have prepared this food. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. So brother, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, about your family, where you're from and how you came to do the work that you do.
My father is honored up and he was a famous anthropologist and musician. He visited all the tribes and learned all the different traditions. And as a musician, he wrote songs about it. And that's why he became very famous and beloved by the West Papuan people. But of course, under the new colonized Indonesia, his music inspired the entire nation and he was assassinated 4 months before I was born. At that time, I was still in my mom's belly. We fled to the neighboring Papua New Guinea, where I was born in 1984. And a year later, we arrived in the Netherlands, the former colonizer of West Papua, where I grew up as a Dutch citizen. And at an age of 16, 17, my mom said, "Son, come sit on the table, and I want to tell you the true story about why we are in the Netherlands and why you don't have a father anymore." And I will never forget that moment.
The island of New Guinea is divided between the Indonesian-controlled western half and the independent nation of Papua New Guinea, but the border between them is rooted in colonialism. Control of what was then known as West Irian was passed from the Netherlands to Indonesia in a deal brokered by the UN in the 1960s and solidified by a controversial referendum that was neither fair nor free.
For the Indonesians, the result is already a foregone conclusion. West Irian will remain with Indonesia.
A civil war marked by bloodshed and repression have marred the region ever since. The Indonesian military is accused of widespread human rights abuses, and hundreds of thousands of people are thought to have died in the conflict, and many more have been displaced.
I heard that my father was assassinated, and I saw the picture that he was laying in a coffin. And that moment changed my life to the person I become today. Because my father's story is just one of the 100,000 of stories of West Papuans who've lost a family member. It transformed me to the activist I become today.
I guess we've got to make it clear that this accent that we're hearing is from the Netherlands.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, and then on this side we hear a British accent. Yeah.
My story begins in Blackwater refugee camp in Papua New Guinea on the border. And I spent my early months in the refugee camp alongside other West Papuan mothers and family. And it's a very difficult story to tell, but it's my story, it's the reality. Many West Papuans who were living in the refugee camp, didn't make it past those early years. And me sitting opposite you in Hawaii, speaking about my people's struggles, it's a miracle. So I thank God for that, first and foremost. But yeah, my accent is British. This is not by choice. My father is Wenda, West Papuan independence leader. And he, in the early 2000s, was put in prison, became a political prisoner, just for simply raising our flag and fighting for freedom and justice. And he managed to escape, and my mother and I followed suit.
When I was in prison, handcuffed, no food, dark room.
The reality is, my family and I, we are living in exile. And we use that freedom to spread our people's message.
Does it then feel a little bit surreal to be here in Honolulu, Hawaii for FestPAC?
Yeah, I think when we were at the opening ceremony, watching our Papua New Guinean Wantoks go on the stage, I remember just looking at some of the faces, thinking like, that could be my uncle, that's my auntie. Like, they are Papuan, we are Papuan. And I think for too long, like, the island of New Guinea, that border, that colonial border has played games, a mind game on, our Wantoks on the eastern half.
The reality in West Papua is that our cultures and our art is under oppression, huge oppression. It's declining, it's disappearing due to colonialism, which is very much alive. The Papuans that we left behind, almost 2 million indigenous West Papuans, cannot express themselves in a way that we see here at this festival.
When we look at the fight of West Papua, it's about more than just independence. What else is at stake?
What is at stake is basically everything if you look at the numbers. We have become a minority in our own country because of a consistent transmigration policy of the colonial power. We have seen an immense deforestation happening because of palm oil plantations, because of fossil fuel companies, because of the world's largest gold mine. Doing nothing means that we're heading towards an extinction as people.
We are what I would describe a 21st century black liberation struggle. And yeah, West Papua it's not even made its way into people's dinner tables or in the global lexicon, like even in academia. So yeah, it's not public knowledge.
I'm curious to know, how do you preserve West Papuan culture and customs being so far away from home?
Wow.
I find social media is the best, for me, best way that I can preserve culture and make it accessible.
But it's this symbol that gives the people of West Papua home.
I'm fortunate to, again, be a musician, but also come from a family that collects music. And I'm always posting videos of either me dancing, me singing, with my mum or by myself. I share documentaries, books, resources, just going over time to make sure that the online community have accessible information. People have to organise through WhatsApp groups, through Facebook. So social media is one of our biggest tools. And that's the sentiment here in Hawaii. Like, I am so hungry for culture. I feel like when you come from a Pacific nation that is being suppressed in such a way, like, the hunger that I have and my uncle have is unmatched.
I've seen that music and art is equal as politics. Because what my father have learned me through his music, not only me, but many West Papuans, is that when we lose our culture, our identity, who are we on this planet? So our culture and our identity makes us West Papuan. And therefore, preserving our culture and art here in the region, I hope the region will understand that it's more than just a show. It's about who we are.
I think we too often underestimate non-political organizations. For example, music, for example, sports, obviously culture.
This guitar is my friend. He a freedom fighter. Also, I'm a freedom fighter.
When you, for example, look at South Africa and the apartheid, like, sports played a huge role in global awareness. And when you look at, black struggles in America, music played a huge role in global awareness. And I believe that cultural festivals like FestPAC and the Melanesian Arts Festival, I mean, there should always be the West Papuan flag flown at all of these events. And West Papua is what I would describe, it's the splinter in the skin. It should be the splinter in the skin of every Pacific Islander. It's that itch. You have to always remember that it will never go away unless you address it and take it out. And as a young person, I have to remain hopeful that there will be change. And I just think the arts and culture, they will play a huge role in our eventual, freedom.
Are you getting my face too, or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll just get a bit of everything.
Okay. I'm just looking away.
Oh, I can't wait. That's gonna look great. Oh, thanks.
You're getting your models ready. We'll just film around
Yeah.
you if that's okay.
Yeah.
Being an Indigenous person from Guahan, we didn't grow up using the word Indigenous to describe ourselves. We would just say Chamorro. During COVID, my grandmother gave me her sewing machine, and she had grown up sewing. My aunties, my mom, they all used to sew as well. But in my generation, I'm the only one. My main inspiration for my life, not just my style, is my mom. She's a style icon on her own right. My grandmother was a style icon. And I even come across these old photos all the time of Chamorro women. And even right after the war, after they had gone through the most traumatic experiences, there's these beautiful photos of women fully dressed, fully done up, posing for the war photographers. And I think there's something to be said about women and how we express our joy and how we present ourselves. Overall, the theme was young Biha, which is like what I used to call myself. And Biha in Chamorro means like an older woman. So our grandmothers, our aunties, like, those are the women that I've always looked up to and have always seen as my role models in life and in style.
Franceska de Oro. Let's give.
We have to go to the backstage now.
This film's on now.
They're on now? Okay. Yes. Okay. Ladies, we gotta go. I was really, really nervous and not like stressed, to be honest. Now, seeing all of my models, they look so good. They're channeling the energy. It's crazy back here.
Yeah.
Let's watch single file.
Another designer from Guahan, Franceska de Oro.
My cultural identity and what I brought into the looks that I presented came from some of the techniques. I use mangu, which is turmeric and chamorro, and I use that to dye some of my garments. And we spend some time making rope out of hibiscus fiber. So a lot of the straps on my dresses are also made out of that material. And then I also experimented with weaving. So I had some akak, which is pandanus and chamorro, and I used that to make some pieces with like a corset, and I wove like a little butterfly, which represents our Mariana's 8-spot butterfly, which is an endangered species due to militarization. Most of my pieces are made from clothing that I either found at the thrift store or bed sheets that I found at the thrift store. And a lot of the lace was curtains that I found. I think I was the only one that would walk into the thrift store and see that bag of like discolored lace, and I was just like, oh, this is mine, it's literally meant for me. Yeah.
Again, let's give it up for the models.
Environmentalism wasn't a concept for my ancestors or even just my grandmother. They were just raised with these values that taught them how to exist in this world. My grandma would keep every container and use it as many times as she could until it disintegrated. Pretty much everything that the older generations had, they really cherished, and it didn't have to be an identity around the environmentalism. It was just what was practical for them. And what's practical for us today is that we adopt those mindsets again. Where I live, we import 90% of what we have, and most of it goes to the landfill. So I did my best. Everything pretty much is compostable.
We did it! Yes, beautiful job.
Thank you. How do you feel now that the fashion show is finished?
Just so grateful, because these wonderful, beautiful ladies saw the vision, they saw the art, and were like, I made it for people like them. The women in my community, they really see the symbolism and they appreciate the techniques, and they're really excited, so I want to be able to produce more, incorporate them and share them as part of our Indigenous identity and remember them so that we don't get too far westernized, so where we don't remember how the materials that we use, the things that we import impact our islands, that we should cherish what we have and have it be more of a self-expression of like an inner sense of like joy and being.
We'll follow you, brother. Yeah, of course.
The artwork that I have, that I bring across, it's an older artwork, and I've only got one copy of it left. The artwork's called Baida Mautitui. During the new moon phase, it's a good time to go look around for crabs, fish. During the quarter moon, between those, good time to go fishing. It highlights our connection to the saltwater. We are saltwater people, we are seafaring people as well.
And so the term Torres Strait Islander is actually incorrect, right?
We would like to educate the wider community is the region that we call ourselves from is Zenat Kes. I felt so privileged and so humbled to be actually representing my people.
Talk to us about the importance of not only just artist connection, but connection to other people from across the region.
That's interesting you've asked that, because I was sitting down, me and a group of the other delegates from Australia, and we got speaking with a couple of ladies from Tahiti. And so we've realized we share similar languages as well, such as ai. That means to eat.
It's food, yeah.
Yeah, food. Kai, kai. And we can see the similar languages around Pacifica. Not only just in my region, but hearing it from other regions as well. It's like, that's awesome. Like, it makes me feel so alive. We shouldn't forget about our language. Our language identifies who we are as people. even though we may have different skin color, different shades of skin color, but we speak the same language. You are that person from that place. And that's what I can see in all the cultures here at FestPAC, how people are so proud of who they are, where they're from, and it kind of gives that fire in your belly. It does for me anyway while I'm here. It's very energetic, good vibes all around, and happy times.
The festival is a celebration. But as we've learned, it also highlights the challenges many of us still have in preserving our culture, particularly here in Hawaii, where historic injustices loom large.
Modern Hawaiian identity is a great mix of many different things.
Hinaleimoana Wong-Kalu is an acclaimed filmmaker and was named by USA Today as one of Hawaii's 10 Women of the Century. She's also mahu, or transgender, and a fierce advocate for Kanaka Māori cultural traditions, many of which are under threat.
My people have been colonized such that many don't even recognize how American my people have become. That's not even meant to be offensive to people, it's just being blunt about it.
Hawaiians arrived here more than 1,000 years ago, but the last 200 years have been cataclysmic for the native population. As contact with the outside world increased in the 19th century, disease wrought havoc.
1820, Christian missionaries arrive. It was so very easy for our traditional chiefs to embrace the Christian God. It was felt that surely the foreign God must have some sort of cure or must have some sort of way to treat the illnesses, the maladies that were brought by their people.
In 1898, after a century of population collapse and an increasing presence of foreigners, a small group of American businessmen conspired to overthrow the Hawaiian monarchy that had ruled the islands for a century. Soon after, Hawaii was integrated as a US territory. Hawaiian language and culture was then suppressed.
My people received the Bible, and the foreigners received the land and walked away with it.
Today, there are fewer native Hawaiians than there were pre-contact, and the vast majority have little knowledge of the Hawaiian language.
Colonization intends to either directly or indirectly steal your identity away from you. When you don't have language, when you don't have culture, and it doesn't exist as a viable mindset, it then creates the reality where most of my people look to the United States. And I know that I anger people when I say that my people should really consider where their mainland is. Because if you're proud to be Hawaiian, it's not saying that you can't hold a US passport, but it is saying that you should remember where is your motherland, where's your homeland, and where should our allegiance and our heart and spirit rightfully be. I will always be a Hawaiian and I will die as a Hawaiian.
You've actually touched on something really important here, because I think, you know, even just our arrival here, we can see how global tourism has taken its toll on Hawaii. You know, what are some of the impacts on the locals of global tourism?
The foreigners come, they buy land which we no longer can afford. They come for fun in the sun and enjoyment, and look to us to smile and cater to them when our lives require us to have 2 to 3 jobs to live and exist here in our home. And when there's not much that you can find in Hawaii that is reflective of our culture as a living daily culture, we are always subject to the whim and will of foreigners. But thanks to the retention of language through efforts that have arisen, giving way to festivals such as this Festival of Pacific Arts here in Hawaii 2024, it reminds us to hold on to our heritage, to celebrate who we are as a people, to make sure that we do all that we can to not fade away and to not be washed away by the tides of time. I say to the rest of the Pacific, you watch just how much you acquiesce and allow yourselves to be subjected to, for it comes at a cost. And the cost is your identity. The cost is your honor, your dignity as a people. That is the lot of my people here in our home, is that we have to fight and we have to argue just to exist in our own home.
There are other Hawaiians like Hinaleimoana, fighting to keep their culture alive.
Of course. Thank you for having us. Sorry, let me introduce you to Alice.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. All right, take us through, brother. Where are we heading to?
So we're heading to our classroom first.
All right. This where the magic happens?
Yeah, some of it.
15 years ago, Jordan helped to set up a carving unit as part of the Hawaiian Studies course here at Wynwood Community College in Kaneohe, just outside Honolulu.
You know, I was doing metal work and all that kind of stuff, and one day I just started carving, and it just felt right. Like, I just knew the first day I ever carved wood, like, I just wanted to do this for the rest of my life. It just felt right. Believe it or not, my family wasn't really into a lot of Hawaiian things growing up. If anything, my mother was Hawaiian, and she just wanted me to speak proper English and do well in life. And my dad, not even being Hawaiian, was the one raising me to be Hawaiian. I really feel this pressure now that a lot of our kupuna are either not with us or no longer able to perform. I feel like that sense of responsibility.
When we look at Hawaiian carving, is it something that's thriving? Is it something that's reviving?
It's reviving. It's on the revival. We have to go and seek out the elders museum. Like, we have to just get as much info. We have to start making sense of things, starting to make some kind of curriculum. Like, we have to learn it ourselves and figure what's the easiest way to relate this to like teenagers. Like I tell people, we're planting seeds in these kids. That's the thing. Like, I know everyone wants to be about carving, but I don't feel what we're doing up here is carving. We're healing. We're instilling pride, courage, support. Sometimes we don't get that from our families. Sometimes we don't have great families. And that's why, like, see, some guys in here will just make me burst into tears sometimes because, no, you just like, you just, you know, you don't realize how much it means to someone, you know. I think I'm spending 4 hours with a kid, you know, teaching him something, and then the parents will come up to me and be like, you know, like, my kid doesn't like anything in life, but he always wants to go and be with you guys up here.
That's one of the things that people underestimate about cultural practices like carving or dancing, you know, the sense of community it builds.
There's a lot of love around here. People ask what's my favorite thing to teach or what my favorite school, and it's like the boys' home because they got nothing. And then as soon as my car is driving up the road, like, they're rattling on stuff, like they're all excited, and You know, and a lot of them come from broken homes, and I don't want to, you know, it's really bad to say this, I'm not trying to put down, but it's usually Polynesian or Pacific people that have kind of some broken families and issues. Yeah, you know. And then, yeah, and then there's been some really great moments, and there's been a lot of sad moments. And just feel that nice little, ooh, just cutting. It's just so satisfying.
This is the first time I've seen John's lift a finger to do work this whole trip.
Yeah, it's true.
There's something just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they your bowls?
Yes,
Was it his?
yes, that's Kepano Carvalho, that's the bowl maker.
We saw you. Was it
Your bowls inside?
They were insane.
Beautiful.
Oh, they're okay.
No, the humility.
Yeah. We keep each other in check. We don't let anyone's head get too big. We'll pop it.
That's very Pacific.
So you've been studying. You studied here in 2014. Yep. Prior to that, how was your connection with your own culture?
We have a olala na oiao, which is makahana pe'ike, in doing there is knowledge, and that you don't get that experience just from reading a book about making a spear. Actually doing the thing, learning the wood, learning its characteristics, where you find it in the forest, what it takes to grow it. All these things are interconnected, and in doing the actual practices, it's helped a lot with furthering not only being part of culture, but like knowing it deep within who you are, you know, because you cannot be a Hawaiian just by reading, right? We were people who lived out and about. We were up in the mountains, down at the sea, in the ocean, interacting with everyone across the Pacific, and to just read it on paper is one thing, but to actually start doing it hands-on gains you a whole world of knowledge.
Yeah. Let it wind. Yeah, let it wind.
Just like that.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, you need a little bit of downward pressure to drill the hole. It takes a second to start, but then you see how it's cutting now?
Yeah.
There you go.
Just like your kukuna a couple hundred years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Holy
They're
moly.
doing what they did.
I'm drilling.
Yeah.
I'm drilling, guys.
And this is the same excitement I get with my students.
You know, just to kind of bring things to a close, I guess. Obviously, we're here for FestPAC.
Yes.
You're involved in FestPAC. Why is it important that we have an event like this? But also, why is it important for you to be involved in the event and also to kind of showcase Hawaiian carving?
I get out of it is we're not alone. It builds a sense of community. It builds a sense of pride. Watching my students, right? And they live sometimes in some rough neighborhoods and they're just trying to get a construction job. And then when they can go to an event like that and see, we're not just these lone Hawaiians that's a minority on this island. There's other brown people around the Pacific that share ideas like me. And they're so nice and loving. There is a giant nations of people out there, you know, and when we see each other, we're all like, oh, look at these beautiful people from so-and-so. They're like us, you know? And then you start hanging out and it's just like, I love these guys. Like, we gotta go to each other's, and that's happening. We're all taking each other's phone numbers and we're gonna host each other. And there's so much more that 2 weeks isn't enough.
Yeah.
I think babies are gonna become born 9 months after this. Indigenous practices and skills get so written off as, we don't want to give funding to that. What's the purpose of them learning how to do this? What's the purpose of them building sleds and riding down the hill? What's the purpose of all that? And you got to look past a monetary, because I think everything today has to equate to monetary value, right? Like, oh, this won't equate to this job that's going to make a lot of money.
You're not going to make a living out of this, or
So a lot of this is, again, it goes back to
Even a lot of
healing.
parents think like that.
No.
How are you going to make money out of carving? You know?
Yeah, if we talk about my family, that's like a dark part of my family, you know, like I'm a black sheep. My sister's a nurse.
There's always got to be one, eh? One black sheep.
That's what I tell people. There's always a black sheep. If you can't find them, look in the mirror, because that's what my whole thing was. I was like, who's the black sheep? And I'm like, well, everyone's pretty successful and, you know, professional, and I'm covered in tattoos and flying all around doing weird things.
This is also success. Let's get that. This is also success.
Yeah, but I think as I get older too, the success, the gauge of success changes, right? Like from monetary to, I feel good about what I do.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for having us. Mwah.
was an honor. Likewise. Likewise, Bella. Sorry.
That's fine.
Where the signs of first play, I'm reminded of the one I love. Beneath the swaying palms, when I
As FestPAC draws to a close, it doesn't feel like the end.
when I held you in my arms, my Hawai'i.
Our identity is non-negotiable.
We have finished this chapter. But now those of us that are still here will start writing the next. Our journey is only just beginning.
O I teita no I kātou a holomua. A ole nāna kātou I hope, nāna no I kātou I mua. Nā ue aku, kaukoe, a hele I mua. Uhaele no I kātou, kulia I kanu. Ho ola no I kātou I kalawe nāna, o kātou, po e kānaka, to pāki pika. Mahalo.
Let's just have a look and admire what we can't afford.
Gosh, this is you're so close. Here we go. Oh yeah.
Can you jump out of my shot, Gab?
No. I'm filming.